Well, the Democrats are officially in the middle of a full-blown mutiny against Chuck Schumer. The criticism and the downright anger from the Democrat Party is pouring in consistently day by day, which is causing Chuck Schumer to melt down so bad that he actually came out today and declared that they will be threatening violence against Republican voters. As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel, but let's start with Chuck Schumer mocking Americans who are understandably upset that the government is wasting their tax dollars.
And you know what their attitude is? I made my money all by myself. How dare your government take my money from me? I don't want to pay taxes. Or, I built my company with my bare hands. How dare your government tell me how I should treat my customers, the land and water that I own, or my employees. They hate government. Government's a barrier to people. A barrier to stop them from doing things. They want to destroy it. We are not letting them do it, and we're united.
Okay, good.
So that was Chuck Schumer on The View trying to rally some partisan support by going after Americans who would rather keep their hard-earned money than give it to the government so they can spend it on trans propaganda in Uganda. But to Chuck Schumer's surprise, it had the exact opposite effect, unsurprisingly, because it turns out most Americans want to keep their money, and ridiculing them for feeling that way isn't the winning, galvanizing message that Chuck Schumer thought it was. Here is CNN ripping into him for that exact comment on The View.
That's not our playoff music.
Government is a barrier to creativity and ingenuity as a business owner. And yes, I want to pay less taxes so that I can hire more people, so that I can be more creative running my business.
I mean,
and government does not make that easy.
Yeah, to your point, I mean, is that really the right pitch for the moment? I mean,
okay. He's not getting anything right now. Like, this might be a moment of rare bipartisan agreement. Chuck Schumer can go. Like, he needs to go sit down with Gen Pop at this point. Leah, he's not getting anything right. He's not talking to the American people. He could take that little voice and say, we're beating them. Doing what? By voting with them? What are you talking about, Chuck? I'm over him right now. I'm over him.
So Chuck Schumer has officially lost support with his base, with his colleagues, and now with the liberal media. And I have absolutely zero sympathy for these people. Nobody told them they needed to consistently lie to their constituents and tell them that there was an existential, imminent threat to democracy that was Donald Trump. No one told them that they needed to paint the picture that Donald Trump was going to cut every single essential service and there were going to be tens of millions of elderly and homeless people starving without medical care. They've got their supporters so riled up that they're actually committing domestic terrorism against Tesla, and then they look at their politicians and they say, we need to see this same energy from you guys. But they never believed that this threat existed, and now they put themselves between a rock and a hard place where they either have to go commit some atrocious criminal act or their base is going to drag them to the guillotine. Listen to this guy on MSNBC say Chuck Schumer is too old and he's got to go.
It's good because you have to sort it out. The reality is that the Democratic voters across the country want leadership to fight.
Yeah, they seem to have sorted it out.
Well, that's true. But here's the thing. 65% of Democrats polled last week in an NBC poll said that they wanted Democratic leadership to fight Trump on every single thing. That's twice the number of Trump's first term in the White House. And so what that means is Chuck Schumer has to get himself together. I think he's been incredibly successful in the past, but I wonder whether he is an analog leader in a digital world.
Now, this leads to another problem that the Democrats are refusing to address. They keep saying the leadership is too old. They're using an old, archaic playbook. They're saying these modern times call for modern solutions. They think their entire brand will get saved by a fresh face who is more social media savvy. But they're still so out of touch. They just don't get it. We rallied behind a 78-year-old Donald Trump, not because he was cool, not because he was trendy. I mean, the entire youth voted for a guy who does a weird dance. It was because he was authentic, but not in the cringy Jasmine Crockett authentic way, in a hopeful and optimistic and pragmatic way. Donald Trump said, I was gonna fight for you, and look what he's doing. Tariffs on everybody, throwing gang members into a max security prison in El Salvador, getting to the bottom of all this government waste and corruption, real, tangible, winnable battles, which leads to the other guy on this MSNBC panel asking the million-dollar question. The Democrats say they're going to fight. What does that even mean?
I guess I would just like some people, including Chris, to define what fight means. The options before Chuck Schumer were to allow the bill to go forward, a simple continuing resolution to fund the government, or go into a shutdown and try to wage a public relations battle in a shutdown. That I think that was a losing battle. And so I understand, let's fight harder. Great. What does that mean? If you allow yourself to believe that your righteousness makes everything better, that you're so right about something that you're obviously going to win a shutdown, you're fooling yourselves. Any party that went into a shutdown thinking they were right on the issue and just thinking the American people were going to rally to their side always ends up disappointing, because that's not what happens. You end up people saying, hey, where's my check? Why isn't the government open? No one rallies to your side. And Chuck Schumer himself has done this. He actually triggered a shutdown in 2014, I believe, over Dreamers. It lasted about 4 days until he got his face kicked in politically, and he folded. He understands this. I mean, it's that simple. If you want to fight, fine. But what does fight mean?
And this is still the key problem with the Democrats that they refuse to acknowledge. They have no substance. They have no detail, no plan. They're still using the Kamala Harris playbook, just talk in these empty slogans. We're gonna fight for you. Well, what does that mean? We've seen everything that you've done since Trump has been president. The popsicle stick protests, the sing-song protests, the choose your fighter TikTok videos, the overuse of cuss words to show your genuine and authentic outrage. They've exhausted all of their options in the first 60 days, which is why their base is so fed up in taking matters into their own hands like a bunch of deranged criminals. But now it seems like the Democrat politicians are also going to endorse the criminal activity strategy. Listen to Chuck Schumer on TV threaten Republican voters with violence if they do not acquiesce to what the Democrats want.
We are mobilizing in New York. We have people going to the Republican districts and going after these Republicans who are voting for this and forcing them to either change their vote or face the consequences. This is a long, relentless fight that we fight every day. And I am confident that we will bring Trump's popularity, numbers, and strength down if we keep at it and keep at it and keep at it.
Now, I don't want to be an alarmist. I don't want to be known as somebody who takes things out of context. You guys can replay that clip and tell me, what can you deduce from what he said other than we will be intimidating and even getting violent with people who do not agree with us? And they called Donald Trump the threat to democracy. He also said the quiet part out loud, which I and many others have already suspected, which is these Republican town halls that the media are trying to portray as outrage and anger coming from the Republican constituency is nothing more than organized Democrat protesters taking up the entire room and heckling and berating Republicans to try to make it seem like what Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing are just insanely unpopular across the board. And that's why some Republican Congress people have said that they're only going to do town halls now and verify that the people who are coming in are actually Republicans. And yeah, that kind of sucks for the genuine Democrats who want to come in and voice their opinion, but the Democrats ruined it, just like they ruin everything else. They're giant babies, they're upset, they're throwing a tantrum, and their problems are more important than everybody else's, so if they're not happy, then no one else can be happy. Listen to this white guy for Harris on MSNBC talk about how the Democrats need a leader with more vigor, with more fight to them. Watch.
She has modeled what Democrats are asking for Chuck Schumer, right? I think, which is to not be in a leadership role anymore. She stepped aside for Hakeem Jeffries, and I think that Democrats are yearning for somebody with more vigor, more vim, somebody that's ready to fight. Now, you can't beat somebody with nobody. We've seen this on a million Republican speaker fights before, so I don't know if Chris Murphy or Amy Klobuchar or one of these other people actually want to challenge Chuck Schumer. I think that's another question. To me, I just think my message to all these Democrats on the Hill is, and Katie, you'll remember this from having covered Trump in 2015 and 2016. What did Republican voters say about Trump all the time? Anytime, establishment Republicans would complain about him, they'd say, but he fights. Like, that became a cliche about Trump. Like, oh, Trump might have used to, he might have used to be a Democrat, or he might not understand the nuclear triad, but he fights. We know he's going to fight. And the Democrats need somebody that can channel that. They don't have to be Donald Trump, but they have to show that they're going to fight. That's what voters want.
So as you can see, it's a full-blown French Revolution, Bolshevik takeover style mutiny. Donald Trump has the Democrats so discombobulated, they are now cannibalizing their own. He's got them so frazzled that they're not even focused on him at the moment. They're focused on destroying each other because the Democrats have created this 5-alarm fire, and their extremely unhinged Trump deranged base has eaten it up entirely, and now they are demanding results. The Democrats have galvanized a whole bunch of wannabe revolutionaries and now aren't ready to fight for the good old cause. Their vitriol and rhetoric already led to an assassination attempt of Donald Trump. If these people aren't careful, these out-of-control Democrats might start turning their outrage from the Tesla dealership to the Democrat leadership. Now, the last thing I want to show you is Senator John Kennedy. I'm absolutely a huge fan of his Southern vernacular. Represent all of us on the Republican side, just sitting back, eating our popcorn, loving this chaos in the Democrat Party.
Many Democrats are angry at Schumer. Among them right now, we've all seen the news. He's about as popular as chlamydia. But that to me says as much about the Democratic Party as it does about Senator Schumer. What it tells me is that the loon wing of the Democratic Party is firmly in control. Now that's great for the Republican Party, but it's bad for America. These people are deeply weird. For example, no honest person whose IQ is above his age doesn't believe that that biological sex doesn't exist, but they do. That's what I mean when I say they're deeply weird. Our Republican secret plan for dealing with the Democrats is called Operation Let Them Speak.
I think the Democrat Party approval rating is going to keep getting lower from here because you have a majority of the party that is denouncing these ridiculous terrorist attacks on Elon Musk. And then you have the younger portion of the party that is continuously advocating for resistance and fighting. So the supporters are eventually going to give the AOCs and the Jasmine Crockett's their shot at the leadership role. And they're soon going to find out that a bartender from the Bronx and a loudmouth ratchet lady from Texas aren't going to be the ones to save the Democrat Party, return them to a place of normality or common sense, and regain any of the support that they've lost. And they also aren't going to be the ones who are going to lead an effective fight or resistance. We warned them that Trump 2.0 was going to be different. He was cunning, he was clever, he understood how government worked, he put together an amazing team, and they are doing the bidding of the American people. The Democrats have apparently accepted that they don't want to be an actual political party that may have a shot at winning elections. They just want to be a loud, complainy, blue-haired party who ends up annoying and turning off every single American even more, that the shift to the conservative party just keeps on growing. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video. And I will see you guys in the next one.